Do you ever feel dull inside or you feel saddened? There's an emptiness, a void. We talk about emotional numbness as part of a mental health disorder, but in truth, a lot of people find themselves feeling emotionally numb. It can happen with postpartum depression, or it happens with any kind of trauma. Anxiety can happen with, depression it can happen with, and in a way it may start as a protective mechanism. If you're feeling really bad, you try to numb out the feeling. It's better to talk about it and deal with it, but sometimes you don't do that. And if you don't, it can turn into something worse and have catastrophic endings such as deep depression, suicide, um, just feeling like you're despondent, apathetic. It can ruin relationships. I'm going to talk about several things today, several items that if you've experienced, you may have a tendency toward emotional numbness. And it's really important you understand that emotional numbness is one of the primary things therapists work with. So you can get help. If you are willing to go see a therapist, some of the things I'm going to mention are medical, and if it involves medication or something, of course then you go to the doctor. But the first of the things that can cause emotional numbness is when you get overstressed. There's a lot of stress right now with the pandemic, with uncertainty of this virus. No one knows what's going to happen. And feeling increased stress raises your blood pressure. It starts a whole process in your body. And feeling emotionally numb is one of those. When you get so overwhelmed, it's only natural you shut down. But if you shut down all the way so that you actually feel a hollow, then that's something different. Secondly, if you are on medications, maybe your doctor's starting you on a new treatment for depression or anxiety, and until they get that regulated, you may feel emotionally numb. It's important that if that's the cause, or if you feel that that's the cause, if you take a medicine and it makes you feel sad or hollow, that you talk to your physician right away. Because that's something, if you carry it forward, that could be a side effect and it's not safe. Dealing with rejection. If you had some intimate rejection in your past, then it can certainly show up with emotional numbness. And you may start feeling like maybe one of your parents, when you were a small child, left you and you created such a hollow, such a vacuum in your heart and in your mind. You never got over it. It's time now. And a therapeutic environment can really help with that. Maybe you've had past abuse. My abuse survivors actually talk a lot about feeling hollow, about feeling numb. But it will lift, it will get better the further away from the incident you go, and especially if you get help. When it can come through a partner, but mostly it should come through a therapist. Because if you go to therapy, you can actually walk through the abuse so you don't have to live it again. And as you walk through it, you can feel it like you've got a companion to go with you. It's not as scary, and it's certainly, you're going to have better guidance about things that you can do to cope healthy so you don't have to numb yourself. If you have felt a loss of a loved one, loss of loved one many times, I think in today's world, people are so busy, they have you go back to work after 2 weeks. For most of us, that's way too soon. And so you can develop this complicated grief. Complicated grief means you basically are in this numbing state and you don't even go there. You don't think about your loved one. That's not healthy. Their memory is what keeps us going. Things like grief share groups, there's a griefshare.org online you can attend. These are free options. Therapy will help with that as well. Maybe you've had a pregnancy or a miscarriage. Maybe you brought a live baby into the world, but it died. These types of things can present a postpartum depression, a terrible numbing, a terrible sadness, hollow. And although that's normal for a while, it is not normal for the rest of your life. Therapy is going to help you work through that and come to the other side where if you lost a child and you still want one, there are other options to explore. Just having someone validate you and go through that pain with you is going to be so helpful, and you will be able to restore your feeling and memories and be a whole person again. If you're dealing with emotions, a lot of emotions all at once, for some people, when they're dealing with too many ideas at once, when they get in a chaotic environment, they cannot think and they automatically shut down. This may be something they learned from their home, especially if they were raised in a chaotic environment. So if this is you, and when a lot of things happen, whether it's at work or at home in your relationships, that's an important thing to be aware of and talk to your therapist about, because you certainly can restore your health and you can learn how to manage emotional numbness without completely voiding out your feelings. To feel is a wonderful thing. To feel is what brings us intimately in connection with other people. And without that, it's impossible to be loved. I hope this helps you.